Hello, children. So, in this class, we will continue with the same chapter, that is quality. Okay, so this will be the third part of this chapter. And in today's class, we'll read from page number 76. In the last class, we have complete till the first paragraph from page number 76, and in today's class we'll read from the second paragraph. So first I'll read out for you, after that I'll explain you paragraph wise. So let's start. It was over a year before I was again in London, and the first shop I went to was my old friend's. I had left a man of 60. I came back to one of 75, pinched and worn, who genuinely this time did not at first know me. Do you want any boots? He said. I can make them quickly. It is a slack time. So I can make them quickly. It is a slack time. Slack means interval, break. Okay. I answered, please, please, I want boots all around, every kind. I had given those boots up when one evening they came. One by one I tried them on, in shape and fit, in finish and quality of leather. They were the best he had ever made. I flew downstairs, wrote a check and posted it at once with my own hand. Okay, so here in this two stanza, the narrator says that soon after the narrator leaves for abroad and returns after over a first year. Okay, the first shop he goes to is Mr. Gessler's. Mr. Gessler, now he was 75, and he was unable to recognize the narrator at first. Then the narrator gives a huge order. When Gessler asks the narrator that, do you want any boots? After that, the narrator quickly gives a huge order to him. Why? Because the boots from Gessler brothers were the best in quality. Then the weight is no longer than ever, but the quality only gets better. Right? Then moving on. A week later, passing the little street, I thought I would go in and tell him how splendidly the new boots fitted. Splendidly means amazingly the new boots fitted. But when I came to where his shop had been, his name was gone. I went in very much disturbed. In the shop there was a young man with an English face. Mr. Gessler in? I said. No, sir, he said. No, but we can attend to anything with pleasure. We have taken the shop over. Yes, yes, I said, but Mr. Gessler? Oh, he answered, dead. Dead? But I only received these boots from him last Wednesday week. So here, after a week, while passing the little street, the narrator thinks to go in and tell Mr. Gessler that the boots were perfect, were amazing. But when he goes to the place where the shop was, the nameplate was no longer. Then he feels very much disturbed. Then he goes into the shop and then he saw a young English face this time. And that young English face greets him. The narrator inquires about Mr. Gessler and he comes to know that young Gessler is also dead. And upon hearing this, the narrator is quite in shock. Now let's see what happens. Ah, he said, poor old starved himself. Slow starvation, the doctor called it. You see, he went to work in such a way. Would keep the shop on, would not have a soul touch his boots except himself. When he got an order, it took him such a time. People won't wait. He lost everybody. And dear huge sit, going on and on. I'll say that for him, not a man in London made a better boot. But look at the competition. He never advertised. Would have the best leader too, and do it all himself. Well, there it is. What could you expect with his ideas? But starvation. That may be a bit flurry, as the saying is, but I know myself he was sitting over his boots day and night, to the very last, you see. I used to watch him, never gave himself time to eat, never had a penny in the house, all went in rent and ladder. How he lived so long, I don't know. He regularly let his fire go out. He was a character, but he made good boots. Yes, I said, he made good boots. By John Galsworthy. So, the story ends here. Now, moving on to the last part for the explanation. So, what happens is the young man then explains to him, he means to the narrator, that Gessler died from starvation. Now, children, do you know what is starvation? Starvation means the death caused by lack of food. Okay? So, he died out of starvation. Then he used to devote himself to shoemaking so much that he used to forget about everything else. All the money went in the rents, house rents, and to buy the leather, good quality leather. The fate was quite obvious from the beginning, but both the narrator and the young man agrees that the Gessler brothers made good quality boots at last. Right? You can see. Now, the ending of the story is quite sad, right? But there's means in the last paragraph we can see that there's a sense of loss, a sense of grief, and that is what the author wants the reader means to us, to feel for those true craftsmanship like the Gessler brothers who value the quality. Okay, they do not bother about advertisement, they do not bother about like they do not bother to earn much. What they bother is to satisfy the customer at reasonable price, to give them good quality, right? So the author here want us, means the reader, to feel the true craftsmen who value the quality, right? And that we can see in the title itself, as the title suggests, that is quality. Now there is a question for you. Write it and do submit it. The question is in the book itself, the first line: can a shoemaker be called an artist? Okay, so that's the end of the lesson. So here I'll stop the class, and tomorrow I'll give you the new words from the whole chapter. Okay, so thank you.